Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm back again with another epic gaming PC build, and this time it only cost around $300 to build. For the $300 that this thing costs, not only am I getting something that I think looks amazing with all the pretty lights in it, but it also is a pretty strong performer in 2021 for the price. So before I talk to you guys about the parts that are in this build, I do want to warn you that everything in this build was purchased on the secondhand market. So if you try and recreate this build, you may not be able to get the exact same deals or parts as I did. So, now that you've been warned, let's go ahead and talk about the parts that make up this $300 PC build. So first, let's talk about the CPU, motherboard, RAM, cooler, storage, and the GPU. Reason I bring all these up at once is because these are all purchased as a combo deal. Sometimes you can save yourself some money if you buy the parts as a combo instead of everything separately. This combo cost me $225 and features a Core i7-4770K, an ASUS Z87 MATX motherboard, an Asetek 120mm AIO that is very thick, 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM at 1866 MHz, a 1TB hard drive, and a Radeon R9 270X. Honestly, for $225, this is a pretty good deal, and you can still play some games on this R9 270X, as I believe it performs in between a 1050 and 1050 Ti. However, I'm not done yet. About a week later, I sold the R9 270X for $80 and picked up a GTX 970 on Facebook Marketplace for $150. This technically means that I only paid $70 for this GTX 970. A 970 for $150 is a decent price in today's market, and the fact that I technically got it for $70 after I sold the R9 270X makes it an even better deal. And the GTX 970 performs a good bit faster than a 1050 Ti, which is a nice bonus. Now, the power supply I used for this build is a shockingly good one. In typical builds around this price, you would usually find the good old EVGA W1 or W3 power supplies, or some random 10-year-old PSU that you found in your uncle's gaming PC. PSU is the Seasonic Core GM 500W, which is an 80+ gold semi-modular power supply. Now, the reason I chose this nice of a PSU is because it went on sale for just $30, which you really can't get much better than this for that price. This PSU features an 80+ gold rating, functional power supply protections, and is semi-modular, which helps for cable managing. Since this power supply is no longer on sale, you could pick up the Corsair CX650M from Newegg for $40 if you're okay with doing a mail-in rebate, or pick up a PSU from EVGA's B-Stock website. Now for the storage, you might have remembered that I already mentioned that we got a 1TB hard drive with this bundle. However, we still need an SSD because running Windows on a hard drive is just atrocious. So I picked up a simple 120 gig Silicon Power SSD for just $20 on Amazon. Nothing too special, but it'll definitely get the job done. And finally, I'm going to talk to you guys about the case and fans that we used in this build. So the case is the Montech Flyer that I picked up on Newegg for just $27. Honestly, a pretty nice case. The only main downside is that the side panel is acrylic instead of tempered glass. However, that's not too big of a deal in my opinion. And then for these beautiful RGB fans and LED strips, I picked up this kit of Allzai, I think is what they're called, RGB fans and LED strips for just $16, and it includes 3 RGB fans and 2 LED strips that absolutely shine inside this build. Now, if we add up all the parts cost for this PC, it comes out to just a little over $300, and honestly, I don't think I did too bad. For $300, we're getting a PC that's a 4-core 8-thread i7 CPU and a GPU that performs better than a GTX 1050 Ti. So now you know the specs of this PC, let's talk about the games. We're going to be testing Fortnite, CSGO, GTA, and Minecraft, as I was unable to get Warzone to work because I need to reinstall it apparently. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about those benchmarks. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to show you how well this $300 PC performs in 2021. Up first is Fortnite at 1080p with the competitive settings, which is where you turn everything down to low and then you crank the render distance up to epic. We got an average of 140 FPS. Definitely a very competitive frame rate, and you could definitely get away with playing Fortnite on this machine even if you wanted to crank up the settings a good bit. Next up for CSGO, at 1080p low settings, we got a little over 200 FPS average. This is definitely a very good machine for playing CSGO as well, although that's kind of expected as this game isn't very hard to run at all. This is another game where if you wanted to crank up the settings to say medium or high, you would still get well over 100 FPS, which is more than enough frames for any casual CSGO player. Next game up is Grand Theft Auto 5, and at 1080p high settings, we got an average of just over 60 FPS, 62 to be exact. Now for some reason I feel like that this PC should be able to get more than 60 FPS on high settings in GTA 5. However, it's still a very smooth experience, and we still hit that 60 FPS goal that most people want to hit. Anyways, it's definitely a very playable game on this machine, and these FPS figures were taken from GTA Online, so if you play regular story mode, you might even get a bit more FPS than in GTA Online. And the final game we're going to be testing on this machine is Minecraft, and that 1080p with the 12 chunk render distance, we get an average of 250 FPS. Definitely more than enough FPS for Minecraft, and this machine could definitely handle some mod packs if you're into that type of stuff. You could also crank up the render distance more if you wanted to, and you would still get a very playable experience. So as you guys saw in the benchmarks, for $300, this PC is a very capable 1080p gaming PC. While it might be hard to recreate something that's similar in specs to this, it could definitely be possible if you do some deal hunting. Most of the games I ran in the system, I ran at low settings. However, this machine could definitely play some games at medium or even high settings, and you'd still get a 60 FPS experience. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I got another super cheap build coming in the next week or two, so I guess I'll see you all then, hopefully.